Thank you for inviting me to talk today. My name's Ursula, and I'd like to begin by introducing you to my daughter, Eva. Today, I'm going to share a glimpse into her life, the challenges that she's faced living with SCN2A, and then receiving Prax 222. Eva's journey began in December 2015 when she was born. From the very start, she was extremely unwell, suffering from seizures every 15 minutes. She was extremely floppy and she did not feed. Since birth, she spent nearly a full year of her 8 years of life battling uncontrolled seizures and related complications in hospital. At 6 months old, Eva was diagnosed with SCN2A. It was a terrifying time for our family, and it was filled with a lot of conversations around life expectancy and resuscitation plans. SCN2A did not hold back. It threw everything at Eva. Uncontrolled seizures, cortical vision impairment, immobility. She was nonverbal. She has intellectual disability and dystonia, a movement disorder that caused her body to stiffen, leading to many joint dislocations and surgeries. Managing her seizures was an ongoing challenge. The medications that were meant to help often came with really, really severe side effects for her. Two of the most devastating were hepatitis of the liver and hypercalciuria that actually caused her body to excrete calcium from her bones, which went into her kidneys and also into her urine. When Eva was 2, she was admitted to hospital once again. She fell asleep and she didn't wake up for over a week. An EEG actually revealed that she had hypsarrhythmia. Though we weren't witnessing her general tonic-clonic seizure pattern, the seizure pattern itself was so severe that we were told that Eva was likely not going to come home from hospital. It was at this point in time that I connected with Kelly and Alex, and we discussed novel therapies for being developed for children with SCN2A. As we maintained contact, their collaboration eventually expanded into a partnership with Praxis Precision Medicine. By late 2022, it became clear that an ASO had been developed for SCN2A gain-of-function patients. And at that point, I shifted my focus as my role as a parent to that as a board member of SCN2A Australia, focusing on gathering data on affected children nationwide. Our goal was to present the necessary numbers to try and establish a clinical trial site here in Australia. But finding that information was a huge challenge due to privacy restrictions and also the disconnected medical systems that Australia has across different states. That's when I turned my attention to exploring the possibility of accessing drugs outside of clinical trial. I learned about an early access program or emergency access program or an EAP. And after discovering Praxis did offer an EAP, it became clear that this was likely going to be the path that we would pursue for Eva. In March 2023, we had a meeting with Eva's treating team to discuss applying for the EAP. It was a difficult conversation because it was filled with questions about risks and benefits and whether Eva, now 7 years old, would truly benefit from treatment. But her condition was rapidly getting worse. Her seizures were out of control. She was having hundreds of focal seizures a day, and she was having 20 to 30 tonic-clonic seizures a day. We knew we probably didn't have much time, so for us as a family, the risk was really worth it. Praxis moved quickly, approving Eva's access to Prax 222. However, convincing our hospital system and the TGA proved a little bit more challenging. At that time, Eva would have been the first child in the world to receive the drug, and the hospital was hesitant. In April 2023, a breakthrough came through when it was announced that a child in Germany, which you heard about earlier, received Prax 222 through an EAP. This actually allowed us to pressure the hospital to reconsider, And after discussions with the German team, the hospital finally approved the treatment, and the TGA approval followed shortly after. On the 1st of December 2023, Eva received her first treatment. That day was filled with a lot of emotion, but we were incredibly grateful to be given this opportunity. To date, Eva has actually received 10 doses, each spread 28 days apart. The administration of the drug is through a lumbar puncture, and our hospital actually decided to do the lumbar puncture through a CT lumbar puncture for accuracy. Now let's get to the best part, the measurable outcomes. So I'm going to share some of the measurable outcomes that we've seen since using Prax 222. These are parent measurable outcomes, and some of the things I'm going to talk about generally aren't looked as measurable outcomes in clinical trials, but they should be. At the commencement of Eva's treatment, Eva had 3 different seizure types. The first seizure type was a focal seizure type. So this was a seizure type where her tongue would twitch, her eye twitches. It generally involves a arm or a leg. And this is the first seizure type that we actually saw improve. So at the commencement of her treatment, after 10 days from her treatment, this actually reduced in time, but it also stopped involving limb movements. So it was just involving the tongue and the eye and then nothing else. And then 8 weeks from commencement of treatment, this seizure type actually disappeared during the day and then only appeared at night. And then in August this year, so 8 months after treatment, this seizure type is actually fully resolved. The next seizure type I'm going to discuss is Eva's tonic-clonic seizure. So this is quite a brutal seizure. It involves her body, she jackknifes herself, she'll scream, and then she'll become really exhausted after having one of these. So Eva was actually having 20 to 30 of these type of seizures prior to receiving Prax 222. What we noticed was that this seizure type actually also started to change in presentation. So the next video I'm going to show you, so she still was making the sound of the tonic-clonic seizure, but it didn't involve the jackknifing, and she also wasn't tired after this seizure type. And then from there, it then evolved into this presentation. So this was 6 months after her first treatment, and the tonic-clonic now was just eyes rolling up in her head, and then that's it. It resolved, it stopped, and she just went on like normal. So the number of seizures that we've seen reduce is from 20 to 30 large tonic-clonic seizures to 0 to 5 a day, which is a massive improvement for Eva. The next seizure type I'm going to talk about is her laughing seizure. So this is the seizure presentation here. We're now only seeing this seizure presentation when a loud noise triggers a seizure. The next measurable outcome I want to discuss is medication. So since receiving Prax 222, we've been able to withdraw 2 seizure medications and a drug that actually prevented one of the side effects from those medications, and also a movement med. So this is an image of her medications prior to her first ASO dose. And then this is halfway through. And this is now. So this in itself has been really great for Eva, but it's also been great for us as a caregiver, because now it only takes minutes to prepare her morning and night medications. The next measurable outcome is tone. So Eva prior to treatment was incredibly stiff. She has a dystonic positioning where her arms will be very stiff and they'll be outright. And then she'll quite often have these dystonic storms. So this screaming and these storms can go for hours. And there's nothing that really breaks them. Not even using clonazepam would stop The dystonic stiff position actually caused Eva to dislocate her elbow. She's dislocated her hips 3 times. And she's also had congenital vertical talus operations in her feet twice. So these have all been really large surgeries requiring lengthy admissions. So since using Prax 222, this video actually shows the improved tone that we're seeing in Eva. So now we have an ability to break that dystonic stiff positioning. We've been doing some measurement scales with her rehab team in the hospital, and they've noted quite a large improvement in her tone also. The next measurable outcome is eating. So Eva feeds orally, but she has to eat modified or softer textures. She doesn't have a peg. So after treatment, one of the first notes we received home from school is that the school was really happy with her eating ability, and she was actually able to eat a meal faster. So a meal for Eva would normally take around 30 minutes, and we were now reducing the time to 15 minutes. We also noticed, and you'll see in this video here, her style of eating started to change. So she'd actually be able to move her tongue to get the food into the side of her mouth, where she would chew and be able to swallow it, which is amazing for us because now we can start to challenge her a bit in textures and what she's going to eat. Another measurable outcome for us is vision. So Eva has cortical vision impairment, and prior to treatment, she really struggled using her communication device. So her communication device is actually controlled by her eyes. So one of the things we first noted after receiving the ASO was that something simple as tracking around a room, and this is even tracking now around a room, so she's actually following a noise around a room, which she never did before, and noise would normally just trigger a seizure. The next video I'm going to show you is Eva trying to spell her name on her communication device, and this was prior to treatment. And I want to show you this just so you can get a baseline.
Okay, so we've got E. Eva. Okay, can you show me? Come on, how do we spell your name? Let's do it.
As you can see, she just can't do it. She's really struggling, but she can't hold her eye gaze long enough to actually trigger letters. So this is the next video I'm going to show you, which is after treatment, and it's the same exercise.
Good girl. B. See, you're on it. That's it. And then we're going to go to A. Got the top to A. Oh, so close, almost there.
So you can start to see that she's having a little bit more accuracy with this, but she's now also becoming frustrated when she can't hit a letter and she starts to kick her legs off a wheelchair. But the next video I'm going to show you is probably one of my favorites as a mum, and I'll show you why.
Eva, what do you want Mummy to do? What do you want me to do?
Go away.
Oh, that's not nice.
No way.
You really want me to go away?
Go away.
Next, I want to talk a little bit about movement. So Eva has no direct movement. Prior to treatment, she was unable to grab or reach or really do anything actively with her limbs. So this is a video of Eva in her walker prior to treatment, and you'll see that the physio's doing most of the work. She's trying to prompt her legs, but she's not really moving them. She's slouched. There's just not a lot happening in the walker. This is a video of Eva a couple of months after commencing treatment. So you'll start to see she's having a little bit more movement. So she's bobbing her head, She's turning her feet in, like she's trying to have some active movement with her feet, even though she's not quite achieving it. We can start to see that she's trying to do something in this walker. And this video was 2 months ago. So you'll see that her steps are starting to get a lot more quicker. She's starting to have a little bit more active movement. The physio still needs to prompt her from her hip just to tell her which leg she needs to move. But she's definitely understanding that she needs to step. And then this video was last week. So you'll see that her legs are now stepping with a slight prompt. And then in this physio session, she actually did 60 consecutive steps. So every time she was prompt, she stepped. And prior to this, her personal best was actually 14 steps. So this was amazing to see, and it brought tears to everybody's eyes. We've also noticed that she started to have some arm movement. So as I said, she's quite dystonic stiff, so her arms are actually always out. So this is a video. This was a couple of weeks after her first treatment. We started seeing an arm raise, which was unusual for her. And then I want to show you this video because we were starting to see a lot more active movement.
Can you show me your arm again? Good job, move your arm. Good job. And again. Good. Move it again. Can you move this arm for now? Good work.
So seeing these results was fantastic. And the next one I want to talk about is mood. So 2 weeks after the first ASO is dosed is when we started noticing an improvement in her mood. So just to set the mood with Eva can scream and she can be quite loud. She doesn't like to be in places that are overstimulating. She hates the wind, she hates the cold, she hates the heat. She hates the rain, she hates a shower, she hates therapy, she pretty much hates most things. So going out as a family was really difficult because we never knew if Eva was going to scream and then people would stare, or if the environment was going to be too stimulating for her and then cause her to have quite a large seizure. So Eva would often stay home with her carer instead of being out with us as a family, which was absolutely heartbreaking because we always really wanted her to be with us. So 2 weeks after treatment, the one thing we started to notice was Eva's moods were changing. So she became more receptive to her little sister, who would normally annoy her, and she actually tolerated her sitting in the wheelchair and grabbing her arms. Then after about a month after treatment, Eva actually went out and got her nails done and she really enjoyed it. And this has actually been something she's been doing every month. And then the best one, most recently, we did a 14-kilometre run with over 80,000 people to raise money for our children's hospital. And this is something Eva could never have done, not only because of the noise, but also because of the pain that it would cause her to sit in a chair for that period of time. And she did it, and she absolutely loved it. Next, I'm going to talk a little bit about reporting. So as we're doing the treatment under the EAP, our reporting process and tests would probably be a little bit different to what's involved in the clinical trial. But we've been doing regular daily seizure diaries. We've also been doing some routine bloods and EEG monitoring, regular updates from her speech and physio with improvements that they've seen. This hasn't actually been an onerous process for our family. I've actually really enjoyed the tracking and reporting and the changes that we've seen. The measurable outcomes have actually been really substantial. So just to quickly go over them again, the things that we've actually seen are constipation improvement, reduction in seizure frequency, improved EEG results, reduction in seizure medication, lower muscle tone, improved eating, improved visual tracking. We've seen some direct movement, We've seen improved communication, and best of all, we've seen mood. Going through this experience with Eva and seeing the changes that this ASO has created in her life has made such a huge impact, not only for her, but also for us as a family. We can now do more things as a family as she can enter environments that once were challenging for her. And we no longer have a fear that she's going to have a large seizure in public or scream. As parents of children like Eva, we don't realize how much impact these conditions truly have on our life. To now experience life where these challenges are reducing makes me really emotional, but it makes me really excited for our community. Eva going through this experimental treatment could potentially help a newborn baby, and that family won't have to experience the torture and sadness that we lived. We did not go into this treatment expecting Eva to be normal. We are aware of the damage this disease has already done to her body. We went into it hoping for a better quality of life for Eva. I look at this incredibly cruel journey we've been on, and since Eva has received treatment, life has become easier. I now look forward to our future, and we've actually just booked a family holiday to Japan next year because we think Eva's ready for a 10-hour flight. Eva has 2 sisters, and she has gone from our naughtiest child to our perfect child, leaving the noisiest roll up to her youngest sister. With every inch stone we make, we will be eternally grateful to the Praxis Precision Medicine team for giving Eva this chance, and we thank you.